Well, cool. Thanks for joining, guys. I got James, our head of marketing, and Chance with us, an account manager, works with solo inspectors, new and experienced. And this is a deck that we typically do up at Internachi for the new inspector course, but we wanted to do a different format today, do a little round table, get these guys' opinions, perspectives, thoughts on what inspectors should be doing. And I know this deck says new inspectors, but during this environment and this winter, this applies to pretty much all inspectors. But we're focusing mostly on solo inspectors, things you guys should be doing this winter to grow your business. So I'm going to breeze through some of these slides. But thanks for joining, guys. Love this.
Thanks.
All right. So some of this is informed by the podcast. I'll say also some of this is informed by each of you two talking to customers, living, breathing the industry, reading forum posts, things like that. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about how scary this number is. What's your guys' take on this, especially in an environment like this? Like, I worry that this number has to go higher if it's not already.
Go ahead, Chance.
Yeah, we're seeing just a lot of turnover for with the market going down, and then guys just not knowing how to squeeze a little bit of extra juice out of the fruit. But that's kind of why we invested in my role as an account manager. Is now you have a business consultant who can roll up their sleeves, get in to know you, get in to know how you want to run your business, and figure out where that extra juice is to make this number drop down to 50, drop down to 40. So that's the goal, and that's what we're shooting for.
Yeah, that's what this whole deck is made for, right, James? Like,
oh, for sure. And I think that's the thing, right? Is this is a scary number to look at for new inspectors, but I think it's also important to recognize that all people starting small businesses, right? Like the success rate isn't incredibly high, no matter what industry you're going into. So don't get too scared about this number being about inspectors. It's hard to start a business, and I think one of the challenges a lot of people have is the business side of the thing that they're doing, right? With home inspection, be the best home inspector in the world. But if you don't know how to do the business stuff, your chances of survival are pretty low. So making sure that having that balance is incredibly, incredibly important.
Yeah, and we're all probably biased in saying that if you're watching this and even associated with Spectora, I believe your chances are higher because you're probably networking with a different tier of inspectors. You have better tools, better software, and you're actually investing in your business. So call me biased, but it doesn't mean we're wrong either. So yeah, the stat sucks to hear, right? So not enough inspections, right? It's simple. Like I think a lot of inspectors will spend time on their templates, but maybe not so much on the stuff in this deck. So this is one thing we talk about a lot, guys, right? Here at Spectora is like even veteran inspectors are now competing and they're sharpening their tools. And so if someone's been around 20 years and their inspection volume gets cut in half, they're going to go out and market. And so as a new inspector or solo inspector within your first couple years, you're probably facing increased competition, right?
Absolutely.
So you guys are all looking for the agents that are actually selling homes. No surprise there, right? And so there's good news. Let's talk about. We reference a lot of case studies, and a lot of these are inspectors that I remember when they were in their first year. Like have shook hands with them, talked to them, had a beer with them at conferences, and now they have a solid enough business to withstand these times. And the goal is for us to kind of give you guys some of the tactics and tips and pointers to get there because they were all at one point brand new. Yeah, so we're giving you these actionable tips. Can you guys talk a little, either one of you, of like your experience with inspectors and shifting the mindset? Because some inspectors roll their eyes when they hear the word mindset and they're like, oh, it's fluffy stuff. Like I inspect homes, but business first, we can't say this enough in this industry. Like what are your guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, James kind of said it earlier, like we know you guys are training to be the best home inspector. We know that you guys are going to provide an exceptional service to your clients, but how do you get the clients? Like that's the mind shift. How do you cut your overhead costs? That's where Spectora comes in with some of our tools. And how do you make the software work for you so you're not working extra hours? So it's just these little sudden shifts, and they take days, weeks, months, but things compound. And at the end of the first year, you will be a business owner and not just a home inspector.
I love that. Yeah. I mean, I think if you take the time to watch through the podcast that Kevin's been doing for a long time now, you will see some very savvy business people that I don't think started maybe as just savvy business people, but they have been focused on being good at the business stuff as well. They're seeking advice from other inspectors, trying to figure out how to automate their business, how to make things work. So yeah, the business part is so important. And yeah, if you don't love the idea of shifting your mindset, I think of it as just putting a ton of new tools on your tool belt. There's a lot of stuff to learn. That's okay. That's part of the kind of the fun part of starting a business, right? Is there's a ton of things to learn, but make sure that you're putting effort on both sides, not just being a great inspector, but being a great business person.
Love it. Love it.